Hello YouTube friends, this is Mess About One, and today is April 23rd, the year 2011. And my video tonight is going to be, I guess, a bit unusual, and I just want to talk about some things that I think about, and sometimes I think I may think about things in an unusual way, but still it's things that are of interest to me. And I've always had an interest in why things are the way they are, why we as humans have come up with the symbols that we use, the divisions of time and such that we use, the shapes that we use and care about as some of our symbols. So I've kind of thought about that and gone back to early modern human, which goes back many tens of thousands of years, and thought about why they developed the things they did that have been passed on to us. And one of the things I also am interested in is shapes, forms and shapes, and mathematical geometry and things like that. So I was thinking, early man without books and maybe without any written language, but still with the ability to observe things in nature and the things that were around him, I wondered what he noticed first. And you know, probably one of the things, and is shown by Egyptian archaeology and Egyptian history, that they noticed was the sun in the sky. And they must have noticed that the sun was a round shape. And a matter of fact, the Egyptians took the sun as one of their gods. I think they called him Re or Ra. And there was sun worshippers, and many of the Egyptian markings and hieroglyphics use a circle to represent the sun and the sun god. So I think one of the first things that early man must have come up with was the circle. And you know, he probably noticed when the sun was rising that it wasn't a complete circle, as it was just maybe breaking the horizon. He would have noticed that it was half of a circle. We call it a hemisphere. And he probably noticed up in the sky at night that there was half moons, and possibly that the half moon went to a full moon, and then when the moon was waxing, it went to a half moon again. So he must have had a appreciation and understanding of the geometric shape, the circle, and that's what I have here. And knowing that this was probably an important symbol to him, I think he probably tried to recreate it, much like I've done here with this piece of paper. And we know the Egyptians and early men had cloth, and for sure they had animal skins prior to that they could have made a primitive shape of a circle. And he might have made this as a representation of something that was important to him. He might have taken a piece of animal skin and put him a center and drew around and came up with a circle that looked like what he saw in the sky. But you know, I related this. It's not only what he saw in the sky, but he may have noticed that same circle shape was important in other places. If you take a close look at the human eye, you have a concentric circle. You have the middle circle and then the outer circle in the eye. If he looked at something dropping into a pool of water, he noticed concentric circles coming out from that pool of water, multiple circles coming out. If he looked at some of the fruit, like a grape, he noticed it was round. I don't know if he would have understood being spherical or not, but when he looked at it, he saw a round shape in that grape. And if we thought about it, you could probably find several more things that early man might have seen that he related to that circle shape. So almost for certain, he probably made some kind of symbols like this. And if he made it out of animal skin, like I've made this one out of a piece of paper, he might have learned that he could fold it in half and it would look like the rising sun. It might look like the phases of the moon. And understanding that things could be halved, he might have even folded it again and made it half again. At this point, it's real easy to take that shape and fold it into thirds. So he could have possibly come up with a shape like that. But you know what is interesting about this is if a person does that, just like I've done here with this piece of paper, what you come up with is 12 folds, if you can see it there on the piece of paper. So to me, if he did this, it might have been where our use of 12 comes up. When you fold a circle as many times, if I folded this one, you come up with 12 lines. You might see like a clock face there, 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on around the clock face. It kind of makes you think about those things. But you know, it goes a bit further. If you tie every other line together with a straight line, and I think that will show up there, you see that there's a hexagon shape there. So if you've gone from a circle, now you have 12 divisions, but you've gone to a hexagon shape out of that circle. And if you go a little further with it and tie center line points, which a person can do this with nothing but a flat circle being folded to give you the lines, and then some kind of straight edge that allow you to mark on it, you'll see that you come up with a 6-pointed star. And that symbol is used in the Jewish faith, the Jewish community, and used in many places throughout the world. So again, with nothing but a circle and some folding and tracing of lines on that circle, you can come up with all sorts of patterns. And if you look real close, you could even, if you wanted to tie other existing points on that circle together, that circle can be made into a square, as you see there. So I've always found things like that to be very interesting, that a simple person and a simple mind maybe copying something that was existing in his world or his environment could come up with all kind of complicated geometric and mathematical shapes. But this goes even further. If you take one of these segments and get it folded back down again, if you take one of these segments and draw a line on that shape, you come up with a right triangle, you'll notice there. So again, from nothing but a circle and a little bit of folding, you've come up with some very important geometric and mathematical shapes. If you look back again at our first representation where we had the 12 lines, and I'm sure that ancient man maybe didn't label these lines, but in our modern world, if we label these lines in our degrees, each division is 30 degrees, 30, 60, 90, all the way around to 360 degrees. So I find things like that to be very interesting. And you might could look at this and add to it your own thoughts about maybe where we came up with some of these, some of our modern symbols and modern mathematics. And I think that early man had a better understanding of it than what we give him credit for. And mathematics and geometry has always been presented as a very complicated subject. I had some trouble when I was going to school trying to learn mathematics and geometry and trigonometry and calculus and all those things. And I've wished many times that I had had the understanding when I was trying to learn all that you can get from just taking it to its simplest form, which is just about as simple as you can get. Nobody that I know of ever told me that all that information came from folding a circle, that all those angles and shapes were nothing more than a folded up circle. I just thought I'd give you a little something to think about tonight, because that's what I was thinking about. I'll see you later.